My name is Brian Sutherland. I am with the I Am Able Foundation. The I Am Able Foundation was founded in 2007 by a United States Marine veteran who started his career in the military. He was a third-generation U.S. Marine. He was in avionics, and he was over in Avellino, Italy, serving. And he was on one of those runs that the Marines do. You know all about that as an Air Force veteran yourself. And Chris noticed his legs weren't working quite as well as they were supposed to. And so he went to Walter Reed Medical Facility, and over the course of 9 weeks was diagnosed with something called adrenomyeloneuropathy, which ultimately ended his military career. But while he was spending time in Walter Reed, he looked around and saw kids hooked up to all sorts of machines, parents mourning the loss of what they imagined for their kids. And at that moment, Chris realized that he found a new mission. It was to show that people with disabilities are going to have to do things differently, but they can still get active and benefit, socially and mentally and physically from activity and leading an active lifestyle. So he founded the I Am Able Foundation in 2007 with the mission to empower people with disabilities to get off the sidelines and into the action. And what we realized is that there are basically two of the biggest impediments for people getting involved in adaptive sports are the cost of the equipment. Some of these bikes, for example, can cost, $5,000, $10,000. We've given away $16,000 or $18,000 hand cycles. And then the opportunities that a lot of gyms don't have programs that are familiar with how people with disabilities can adapt the equipment to their specific needs. Events and races aren't necessarily aware that, a couple of steps is enough to eliminate the option for people with wheelchairs, for example. And so what we do is we provide adaptive equipment grants and programming opportunities for people to get active, sweat, improve their physical health, their mental health, and do so alongside the community.
Okay, what is your role within the organization?
I am the development director. I started here in about 2019, so I've been here about 6 years. At the time, it was just Chris and I, and it was a small team, so we just sort of got together every day and planned out our day and sort of put out fires as they came up, and we kind of had this idea of what we wanted to do, but no real roadmap to get there. No ability to say no to things when they came to us, and we sort of took almost every opportunity that came to our way, and it overwhelmed us in a lot of ways and watered down sort of what we were trying to accomplish. And we experienced, I think, a little bit of frustration in that sense as we were bringing on new people to serve our community, to be able to communicate exactly what it is that we were trying to accomplish. And I think we all agreed on the destination, but we didn't necessarily know or agree on the steps to get there. And so over the course of the last few years, what we've done is sort of really honed in on that final destination where we want to be in 10 years, and then where we want to be in 3 years, to make sure that we're addressing and we're in front of and really having our finger on the pulse every week, focused on those quarterly goals, focused on those annual goals, focused on those long-term vision that we have. Tell that I'm just scratching the surface on your experience, building a team and managing projects. One thing I really appreciate about you, Mark, is that, you don't have an ego in this. I mean, you're kind of like a shepherd in the sense that you're guiding us through this process, but you don't tell us which direction to go. And there are times where you sort of set up something and you see those friction points, and you'll sit back and just observe like us debating a nuanced point. That's fairly critical to our group understanding of something. And you'll chime in every once in a while as we stray off or get a little off course. but you just go, or you say, okay, it's time to move on to the next thing. Well, why don't you guys solve that in one of your level 10 meetings? But you're just there to sort of as an independent observer, and I think that's really important, to sort of stand back and not necessarily have a predisposition as to what the conclusion is going to be, but trusting us to do that as a team together, and recognizing, with your experience, where a certain tool might help solve a certain problem that we're having. If you are a veteran and want to get involved in adaptive sports, like we're here in Reading, Pennsylvania, if you're somebody with a disability and you want to travel here, we are here to help you get stronger, get faster, enjoy the outdoors, adventure. And if your business is struggling with defining the plan, like, go to Mark. I'm telling you, he's helped out our business a lot, and we're very grateful for him. So thank you, Mark, for everything you've done, and thank you for the opportunity to share this with the larger audience.